Chapter 5. The First 3 Years. For 3 years, we had to make every dollar do the work of 2. All through the summer holidays, we worked at the boat club in Dennisport. It was hard work, but we were never too tired to be kind to each other. I say kind because there are no words to describe our love and happiness together. After the summer, we found a cheap flat near the university. It was on the top floor of an old house and was actually very expensive. But what could we do? There weren't many flats around. "Hey, Preppy," said Jenny when we arrived there. "Are you my husband, or aren't you?" "Of course I'm your husband." "Show me, then." My God, I thought. In the street? "Carry me into our first home." I carried her up the 5 steps to the front door. "Why did you stop?" she asked. "This isn't our home. Upstairs, Preppy." There were 24 stairs up to our flat, and I had to stop halfway. "Why are you so heavy?" I asked her. "Perhaps I'm expecting a baby." "My God, are you?" "Ha! I frightened you then, didn't I?" "Well, yes, just for a second or two." I carried her the rest of the way. There were very few moments in those days when we were not worrying about money. Very few, and very wonderful. And that moment was one of them. A food shop let us eat now, pay later, thanks to the Barrett name. But our famous name did not help us in Jenny's work. The head of the school thought we were rich. "Of course, we can't pay our teachers very much," said Miss Whitman. "But that won't worry you, Mrs. Barrett." Jenny tried to explain that Barretts had to eat, just like other people. Miss Whitman just laughed politely. "Don't worry," Jenny said to me. "We'll manage. Just learn to like spaghetti." I did. I learned to like spaghetti, and Jenny learned lots of different ways of cooking it. With Jenny's pay from school, and our money from our summer work and my holiday jobs, we managed. Our lives had changed a lot, of course. There was no more music for Jenny. She had to teach all day, and came home very tired. Then she had to cook dinner. Restaurants were too expensive for us. There were a lot of films that we didn't see, and places and people that we didn't visit. But we were doing okay. One day, a beautiful invitation arrived. It was for my father's 60th birthday party. "Well?" said Jenny. I was in the middle of a thick law book and did not hear her at first. "Oliver, he's reaching out to you." "No, he isn't. My mother wrote it. Now be quiet, I'm studying. I've got exams in 3 weeks. "Ollie, think. 60 years old, damn it. How do you know that he'll still be alive when you decide to forget your disagreement?" "I don't know, and I don't care. Now let me get on with my work." "One day," said Jenny, "when you're having problems with Oliver V..." "Our son won't be called Oliver. You can be sure of that," I said angrily. "You can call him Bozo if you like. But that child will feel bad about you because you were a big Harvard sportsman. And by the time he goes to university, you'll probably be a big, important lawyer," she continued. "Oliver, your father loves you in the same way as you will love Bozo. But you Barretts are so full of pride. You'll go through life thinking that you hate each other. Now, what about that invitation? Write them a nice letter of refusal. Oliver, I can't hurt your father like that. What's their telephone number? I told her, and was at once deep in my law book again. I tried not to listen to her talking on the telephone, but she was in the same room after all. Suddenly I thought, how long does it take to say no? Ollie! Jenny had her hand over the telephone mouthpiece. Ollie, do we have to say no? Yes, we do. And hurry up, damn it. I'm terribly sorry, she said into the telephone. She covered the mouthpiece again and turned to me. He's very unhappy, Oliver. Can you just sit there and let your father bleed? Stones don't bleed, Jen. This isn't one of your warm, loving Italian fathers. Oliver, can't you just speak to him? Speak to him? Are you crazy? She held the telephone towards me. She was trying not to cry. I will never speak to him. Ever, I said. Now she was crying, very quietly. Then she asked me once more. For me, Oliver, I've never asked you for anything. Please. I couldn't do it. Didn't Jenny understand? It was just impossible. Unhappily, I shook my head. Then Jenny spoke to me, quietly and very angrily. You have no heart, she said. She spoke into the telephone again. Mr. Barrett, Oliver wants you to know. She was crying, so it wasn't easy for her. Oliver loves you very much, she said, and put the telephone down quickly. I don't know why I did it. Perhaps I went crazy for a moment. Violently, I took the telephone and threw it across the room. Damn you, Jenny! Why don't you get out of my life? I stood still for a second. My God, I thought, what's happening to me? I turned to look at Jenny, but she had gone. I looked round the flat for her. Her coat was still there, but she had disappeared. I ran out of the house and searched everywhere for her. The law school library, Radcliffe, the music school. Was she in one of the music rooms? I heard somebody playing the piano, loudly and very badly. Was it Jenny? I pushed the door open. A big Radcliffe girl was at the piano. What's the matter? She asked. Nothing, I answered, and closed the door again. Where had she gone? I felt terrible. I searched the university, the streets, and the cafes. Nothing. Had she taken a bus to Cranston, perhaps? At midnight, I found a telephone box and called Phil. Hello, he said sleepily. What's the matter? Is Jenny ill? My God, I thought. She isn't there. She's fine, Phil. I just called to say hello. You should call more often, damn it, he said. Is Cranston so far away that you can't come down on a Sunday afternoon? We'll come. Some Sunday, Phil. I promise. Don't give me that. Some Sunday indeed. This Sunday, Oliver. Yes, sir. This Sunday. And next time you telephone, I'll pay, damn it. Okay? He put down the telephone. I stood there and wondered what to do. At last, I went back to the flat. Jenny was sitting on the top step. I was too tired to cry, too glad to speak. "I forgot my key," said Jenny. I stood there on the bottom step. I was afraid to ask how long she had been there. I only knew that I had hurt her terribly. "Jenny, I'm sorry." "Stop," she said. Then she added, "Love means you never have to say you're sorry." We walked up to our flat. As we undressed, she looked lovingly at me. "I meant what I said, Oliver." And that was all. Chapter 6. Money can't buy everything. When the letter came from the law school, it changed our lives. I came third in the final examinations, and suddenly everyone wanted to offer me jobs. It was a wonderful time. Think of it, an all-American boy with a famous name, third in his examinations, and a Harvard hockey player, too. Crowds of people were fighting to get my name and number on their company writing paper. At last, I accepted a job with Jonas and Marsh in New York. I was the highest-paid graduate of my year, too. After 3 years of spaghetti and looking twice at every dollar, it felt wonderful. We moved to a beautiful flat in New York. Jonas and Marsh's office was an easy 10-minute walk away. And there were lots of fashionable shops nearby, too. I told my wife to get in there and start spending immediately. "Why, Oliver?" "Woman, you supported me for 3 years. Now it's my turn." I joined the Harvard Club of New York. Ray Stratton was working in New York, too, and we played tennis together 3 times a week. My old Harvard friends discovered me once more, and invitations arrived. "Say no, Oliver. I don't want to spend my free time with a lot of empty-headed preppies." "Okay, Jen, but what shall I tell them?" "Tell them I'm expecting a baby." "Are you?" She smiled. "No, but if we stay at home tonight, perhaps I will." We already had a name for our child. "You know," I said one evening, "I really like the name Bozo." "You honestly want to call our child Bozo?" "Yes, it's the name of a big sports star. He'll be wonderfully big and strong," I continued. "Bozo Barrett, Harvard's biggest football star." We had a name for our child, and we wanted him very much. But it's not always easy to make a baby, although we tried very hard. Finally, I became worried, and we went together to see a doctor. Dr. Shepard checked everything carefully. He took some of our blood and sent it away for examination. "We'll know soon," he said. A few days later, he telephoned me at my office and asked me to visit him on my way home that evening. "Well, Doctor," I said, "which of us has the problem?"
"It's Jenny," he said. "She will never have children."
I was ready for this news, but it still shook me. "Well," I said, "children aren't everything."
"Oliver,
said Dr. Shepard.
The problem is more serious than that. Jenny is very ill. She has a blood disease. It is destroying her blood, and we can't stop it. She is dying, Oliver. I am very sorry.
That's impossible, Doctor, I said. I waited for the doctor to tell me that it was not true. Kindly and patiently, he explained again, and at last I understood the terrible words. Have you spoken to Jenny, Doctor? What did you tell her?
I told her that you were both all right. For the moment, it's better that way.
I wanted to shout and scream at the unfairness of it all. Jenny was 24, and she was dying. What can I do to help, Doctor? I asked at last.
Just be natural,
he said. Natural. I began to think about God. At first, I hated him. Then, next morning, I woke up, and Jenny was there beside me. Still there. I was ashamed. Thank you, God, I thought. Thank you for letting me wake up and see Jennifer. Be natural, the doctor had said. I did my best, and all the time I was living with my terrible secret. One day, Mr. Jonas called me into his office.
Oliver, I have an important job for you. How soon can you go to Chicago? You can take one of the younger men with you.
One of the younger men? I was the youngest man in the office. I understood the message. Oliver, although you are still only 24, you are one of our top men. Thank you, sir, I said, but I can't leave New York just now. I had decided not to tell anyone about my troubles. I wanted to keep my secret as long as possible. I could see that old man Jonas was unhappy about my refusal. On the way home that day, I saw a notice in a travel shop window. Fly to Paris. Suddenly, I remembered Jenny's words. What about my scholarship? What about Paris? I went into the shop and bought 2 tickets to Paris. Jenny was looking gray and tired when I got home. When I showed her the tickets, she shook her head. Oliver, she said gently, I don't want Paris. I just want you. And I want time, which you can't give me. Now I looked in her eyes and saw the sadness in them. We sat there silently, holding each other. Then Jenny explained. I was feeling terrible. I went back to the doctor, and he told me, I'm dying. Now I didn't have to be natural anymore. We had no more secrets from each other. Now we could discuss things that young husbands and wives don't usually have to discuss. You must be strong, Oliver, she said. For Phil, it's going to be hard for him. He needs your help, okay? Okay, I'll be strong, I promised. I hoped Jenny could not see how frightened I was. A month later, just after dinner, Jenny was playing Chopin on the piano. Suddenly she stopped. "Are you rich enough to pay for a taxi?" she asked. "Of course. Where do you want to go?" "To the hospital." In the next few busy, worried moments, while I hurriedly packed a bag, I realized, this is it, I thought. Jenny is going to walk out of this flat and never come back. I wondered what she was thinking. She sat there, looking straight in front of her. "Hey," I said, "is there anything special that you want to take with you?" "No," she said. Then she thought again. "Yes, you." The taxi driver thought Jenny was expecting a baby.
"Is this your first?"
he asked. I was holding Jenny in my arms, and I felt ready to explode. "Please, Holly," Jenny said to me softly. "He's trying to be nice to us." "Yes," I told the driver. "It's our first, and my wife isn't feeling very well, so can you hurry, please?" He got us to the hospital in 10 minutes.
"Good luck,"
he called as he drove away. Jenny thanked him. She was having trouble walking. I wanted to carry her, but she said clearly, "Not this time, Preppy." So we walked. "Have you got health insurance?" they asked us in the hospital. No. We had never thought about buying insurance. We were too busy buying furniture and kitchen things. Of course, the doctors knew about Jenny, and they were expecting us. "Listen," I told them. "Do your best for Jenny. I don't care what it costs. I want her to have the best, please. I've got the money." Chapter 7. Strong men don't cry. I jumped into my MG and drove through the night to Boston. I changed my shirt in the car before I entered the offices on State Street. It was only 8 o'clock in the morning, but several important-looking people were waiting to see Oliver Barrett III. His secretary recognized me and spoke my name into the telephone. My father did not say, "Show him in." Instead, the door opened, and he came out to meet me.
"Oliver,"
he said. His hair was a little grayer, and his face had lost some of its color.
"Come in, son,"
he said. I walked into his office and sat down opposite him. For a moment, we looked at each other. Then he looked away, and so did I. I looked at the things on his desk, the scissors, the pen holder, the letter opener, the photos of my mother and me.
"How have you been, son?"
he asked. "Very well, sir. Father, I need to borrow $5,000. He looked hard at me.
"May I know the reason?"
he said at last. "I can't tell you, Father. Just lend me the money, please." I felt that he didn't want to refuse or argue with me. He wanted to give me the money, but he also wanted to talk.
"Don't they pay you at Jonas and Marsh?"
"Yes, sir." So he knows where I work, I thought. He probably knows how much they pay me, too.
"And doesn't Jennifer teach, too?"
Well, I thought, he doesn't know everything. Please leave Jennifer out of this, Father. This is a personal matter. A very important personal matter.
"Have you got a girl into trouble?"
he asked quietly. "Yes," I lied. "That's it. Now give me the money. please." I think he knew that I was lying, but I don't think he wanted to know my real reason for wanting the money. He was asking because he wanted to talk. He took out his checkbook and opened it slowly. Not to hurt me, I'm sure, but to give himself time. Time to find things to say. Things that would not hurt the two of us. He finished writing the check, took it out of the checkbook, and held it out towards me. When I did not reach out my hand to take it, he pulled back his hand and placed the check on his desk. He looked at me again. "Here it is, son," the look on his face seemed to say. But still he did not speak. I did not want to leave either, but I couldn't think of anything painless to say. And we couldn't sit there, wanting to talk, but unable to look at each other. I picked up the check and put it carefully into my shirt pocket. I got up and went towards the door. I wanted to thank my father for seeing me when several important people were waiting outside his office. If I want, I thought, he will send his visitors away, just to be with me. I wanted to thank him for that, but the words refused to come. I stood there with the door half open, and at last I managed to look at him and say, "Thank you, Father." Then I had to tell Phil Cavallari. He did not cry or say anything. He quietly closed his house in Cranston and came to live in our flat. We all have ways of living with our troubles. Some people drink too much. Phil cleaned the flat again and again. Perhaps he thought Jenny would come home again. Poor Phil. Next, I telephoned Old Man Jonas. I told him why I could not come into the office. I kept the conversation short because I knew he was unhappy. He wanted to say things to me, but could not find the words. I knew all about that. Phil and I lived for hospital visiting hours. The rest of life, eating and sleeping, or not sleeping, meant nothing to us. One day in the flat, I heard Phil saying, very quietly, "I can't take this much longer." I did not answer him. I just thought to myself, I can take it. Dear God, I can take it as long as you want, because Jenny is Jenny. That evening, she sent me out of her room. She wanted to speak to her father, man to man. "But don't go too far away," she added. I went to sit outside. Then Phil appeared. "She wants to see you now," he said. "Close the door," Jenny ordered. I went to sit by her bed. I always liked to sit beside her and look at her face, because it had her eyes shining in it. "It doesn't hurt, Ollie, really," she said. "It's like falling off a high building very slowly, you know?" Something moved deep inside me. "I am not going to cry," I said to myself. "I'm strong, okay?
and strong men don't cry. But if I'm not going to cry, then I can't open my mouth. I said. No, you don't know, Preppy, she said. You've never fallen off a high building in your life. Yes, I have, my voice came back. I did when I met you. She smiled. Who cares about Paris? She said suddenly. Paris, music, all that. You think you stole it from me, don't you? I can see it in your face. Well, I don't care, you stupid Preppy. Can't you accept that? No, I answered honestly. Then get out of here, she said angrily. I don't want you at my damn deathbed. Okay, I accept it, I said. That's better. Now, will you do something for me? From somewhere inside me came this sudden, violent need to cry. But I was strong. I was not going to cry. I said again. Will you please hold me, Oliver? I put my hand on her arm. Oh, God, she was so thin. And held it. No, Oliver, she said. Really hold me. Put your arms round me. Very, very carefully, I got onto the bed and put my arms round her. Thanks, Ollie. Those were her last words. Phil Cavallari was waiting outside. Phil, I said softly. He looked up, and I think he already knew. I walked over and put my hand on his arm. I won't cry, he said quietly. I'm gonna be strong for you. I promise, Jenny. He touched my hand very gently. But I had to be alone, to feel the night air, to take a walk, perhaps. Downstairs, the entrance hall of the hospital was very calm and quiet. The only noise was the sound of my footsteps on the hard floor. Oliver! It was my father. Except for the woman at the desk. We were all alone there. I could not speak to him. I went straight towards the door. But in a moment he was out there, standing beside me. Oliver, he said. Why didn't you tell me? It was very cold. That was good, because I wanted to feel something. My father continued to speak to me, while I stood still and felt the cold wind on my face. I heard this evening. I jumped into the car at once. I was not wearing a coat. The cold was starting to make me ache. Good. Good. Oliver, said my father. I want to help. Jenny's dead, I told him. I'm sorry, he said very softly. I don't know why I did it.
but I repeated Jenny's words from long ago. Love means you never have to say you're sorry. Then I did something which I had never done in front of him before. My father put his arms round me, and I cried.